Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donohue and Sonia Mansfield, talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donohue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. It is creepy, spooky season here at What a Creep. We love this season. It's our favorite time of the year.
It's our favorite.
We talk about creeps from the past and the present. Today, we're going after people who try to make Halloween suck, that try to suck the joy out of that occasion.
Creeps.
And we always end the show with somebody who's not a creep, just so you know, in case it's your first time listening. You could follow us on social media. We are always looking for suggestions for creeps, but also for non-creeps.
Sometimes that's harder to find.
Yes, it is. We have a basic Facebook page. You can like it. We just never go there. That's where people go to complain about our language. This is your warning. We use salty language in this program.
Fuck yeah.
We're on Twitter at, as long as that exists, at CreepPod. Because somebody's on Twitter for 10 years as What a Creep and never used it.
What a creep!
Creep! We're on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Anything else?
Yeah.
What a Creep Podcast. And then we have an old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. If you would like some stickers, please send us your address via the email, wherever you are on the planet Earth. Sonia, we got a love letter from Australia from a really cool fan. Dropped those in the mail for you yesterday. Love. So it'll be showing up soon. Thank you so much.
Love letters. All I get are political mailings.
I get 100 texts a day. We're in the election season right now.
Yes.
If I get one, it's 100. Yeah.
Yes. All day long.
All day. We're waiting. We were just saying there's 10 days left. We're ready for this shit to be over.
Come on. Just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. We could do it.
We can do this. We got this.
We got this.
Sonia?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about the website?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I will. It's whatacreeppodcast.com. It's everything you want to know about the podcast, but we're afraid to ask. There are links to all of our past episodes. And we have we're in season 27, y'all. That doesn't mean we've been on the air for 27 years.
So it feels like it sometimes.
But it feels like it sometimes. No, it's 27 seasons. I can't believe it. And each season's 10 or 12 episodes. I forget. Anyway, go there. You can open the post. And you can see all of our show notes because we source everything we do. We don't want to, we're not making anything up here. We want to give people credit for the work they do. So if you're looking for a deeper dive on any of our creeps, fabulous place to start. We also have our merch shop where you can get t-shirts and tote bags and face masks and journals and beach towels and dish towels and all kinds of stuff. And you could just get it with our faces on it, or our next, the high road can get fucked, petty next exit. Great shirt, if I don't say so myself.
You designed it. It's super comfy.
Thank you. So do those things. And we appreciate that kind of support. There's also a link to our Patreon. Tell them about that, Margot.
Patreon. You look up What a Creep Podcast. And if you join, we put out 2 bonus episodes a month. And those bonus episodes come in audio form and in video if you want to see our pusses talking about this stuff. And we also have our pusses. That's what my dad always said for face. Puss.
Took me a minute. Okay.
But we have our first 9 seasons on there. And I want to thank Tina, Yvonne, Lelia, and Jessica for all joining our Patreon page. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just, you can join it for free. And we put up there clips from the movies that we talk about for Dorking Out, which is our other show. We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
Anywho, I think we went through. Oh, let me just say this: no new reviews in iTunes. If y'all use iTunes, and unfortunately, I no longer can see around the world people signing on Apple Podcasts because beat is taking that out. But please,
Boo.
boo. But if you can leave us a review, some stars, that would be amazing. And also on Spotify, y'all have been really great about that. We really appreciate it. So wherever you get your podcasts, however you listen to the show, we appreciate you. Just be sure to subscribe.
You can listen on YouTube as well, apparently.
Yes.
Is what
it's
we're
on.
Just discussing.
Thank you for mentioning that, Sonia. I'm trying to promote my YouTube a little bit more. I'm going to post What a Creep there. And also I'm working on a book and I'll be doing some book promotion there. So just look up under my name, Margot Donahue on YouTube. And I want to say thank you to our good friend Kristen Meinzer. She had me on her podcast today called The Daily Fail. And
I can't wait to listen.
I really used my Brady Bunch knowledge. It is pretty impressive, I have to say, if I do say so myself. Sonia.
Yeah.
What the hell is our topic today?
Okay. This is going to be mostly fun with a dab of sad, but mostly fun. Y'all, we're going to talk about people who ruin Halloween. So our main source for this is our private Facebook group. So if you're not in the Facebook group, you want to join, you just answer a few questions, type in like What a Creep podcast, and it's a group, not our basic bitch page. It's our group. You go there, answer the questions. Don't be a dick. You can come in. And I asked the group, tell me about people who try to ruin Halloween, and y'all came through. So that is our main source for this, but I also have a few others. So we have A&E TV, BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, Parents, Nonprofit Quarterly, NPR, Scary Mommy. That's a blog.
It's a great blog.
Yeah. The Today Show, and of course, Wikipedia always. So I thought it would be fun just to talk about the creeps that try to ruin Halloween. So I'm going to source y'all and we're going to talk about it. So one of our listeners, Allie, said, people that tape Bible verses to pencils or for trick-or-treaters.
What?
And people were like, that's not a thing. And I was like, this is a thing. Okay. So there are people who tape, like, these are the people that don't want to hand out candy. So they'll do like pencils or like
toothbrushes.
Yeah, toothbrushes or whatever. And then they tape like religious things on it. So you'll get like, pencils. You'll get fake dollar bills that look like real dollar bills. And then you open it up and it's like,
Jesus loves you.
Money, Jesus loves you. Money can't buy happiness, but Jesus can. Blah, 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 whatever. So there's a lot of that. Like people who are like, I'm like, if you don't want to hand out candy, just turn off your lights, man. That's
like
going
the
to be
rest
the
of us,
reoccurring
and hide in your living room. Yes.
That's the reoccurring theme of this podcast will be like, bitch, just turn off the lights. Like you don't have to participate, but
it's
these are what some
out
people,
of the year.
Yes. So along with the people that do the Bible verses on pencils and other things like that, there are also people who are like anti-vaxxers that put stickers on candy and it'll say things like thinking about vaccinating your kids. And then it'll have like a number to the National Vaccine Information Center. And I'm like, again,
and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. answers it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, look, I don't want to take medical advice from a Snickers bar. Just fucking, again, turn off your fucking lights. Like if you don't want to hand out these people are handing out candy, but they're also doing the stickers. And I'm like, come on. This is not the time to like push your shit. Listener Alexis said, I also hate it when ignorant religious freaks call Halloween the devil's holiday or devil's night. Yes.
Isn't Devil's Night the night before? Or that was Mischief Night.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
These are the same people who lose their shit when you say happy holidays and not Merry Christmas. Like, but they'll still like be shitty about Halloween. And then along those lines, like one of our listeners, Christina, got in there and was like, people who tell kids that are like, they're like dressed as Minnie Mouse, that they're celebrating a holiday that worships the devil. Or our listener, Bleta, am I pronouncing that right?
So.
She said, Bleta? I'm sorry.
She comments all the time too.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, please comment and tell me how to pronounce your name. People who say they don't let their kids celebrate Halloween, but then they dress their kids up, and she said that's literally what Halloween is. And this is the thing, and I've seen this all over social media. It's people who are like, I don't believe in Halloween because it's the devil's night, but we do dress up and we do carve pumpkins. And I'm like, that's Halloween, you asshole. That's Halloween. Like, imagine if I was like, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I put up a tree and decorations and I hand out presents. That's Christmas. You're not celebrating Christmas. Like, that's what it is. Just enjoy it, man. Halloween started as one thing, but it's a whole other thing now. It's just a night to have fun.
And
Can we
play
just
dress
have
up. And it's the fall
Yeah.
harvest. And it brings on, for me, I loved it because you got to dress up and you got candy, of course.
Yes.
But then to me, it was like a fast track to Thanksgiving and then Christmas.
Yes.
And then you were off from
Halloween
school
to
for a
me
couple
is
of weeks.
the kickoff for what I call, not just me, by the way, it's the holiday season. Like, and I put Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. They're all in there together for me.
Same. And
Like,
New Year's.
October 1st, holidays.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why we
care.
say happy holidays.
Yes, it's the thing. What was your favorite? Did you have like a go-to Halloween costume when you were a kid?
They're all not politically correct. They're all like not good. So we dressed up as hobos. And
Yeah.
please don't be offended by the word gypsies. We
Yeah.
we did that a lot. I was a housewife one year because I was inspired by a Happy Days episode.
Oh my God.
So I had like the house coat and the curlers
this
and the
is
mop and a
hilarious.
bucket.
You are absolutely wearing all the costumes that I have filed under. Please don't do these things.
Yeah, that's all we did. And then my brother Joe was a murdering whatever. He had like fake blood and he was like a chef, but he was a killer chef. Or he was a
No.
priest, but he was a killer priest or a dead priest or yeah.
Well,
We
I
were-
don't mind that.
Yeah, we were together. Yeah, Joe and I were ink and dink. We always like hung out together. And
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I dressed up as Scooby-Doo like 5 years in a row.
did your
when I
mom
was
make
a
your
kid.
costume? Here's another thing.
Yes.
See, my mother, and I don't blame her. She had 4 kids in 5 years. So everything was like unmasked, like just threw shit
Yeah.
at us and you figure it out.
Yep.
So I don't blame her at all. But I also remember when they used to not the Walgreens, what was it? Woolworth. There was a Woolworth.
Yes.
And they sold costumes. They were like $2 a piece. And it was this plastic mask
Yeah.
you couldn't see out of, you couldn't breathe out of. And
Mhm.
then this flammable apron, basically.
Yeah.
You tied in the back and you were like,
Yeah.
Princess Leia in that or
Mhm.
you whatever. And they were awful. They made my face break out. It made my
Yes.
Yeah. They were
You
terrible.
couldn't breathe in them and they would get all like moist inside.
It was
and-
horrible.
Ugh.
So that's
Yeah.
when my mom's like, you should be a gypsy. And then she just threw all of her crap jewelry at me and then threw a scarf around my head like Rhoda
There
from
you
Mary
go.
Tyler Moore's show. And there you go.
I said my mom, it was actually my grandmother who made my costumes.
Aw.
And yeah, I was Scooby-Doo, which really was just a big brown dog. It didn't really look like Scooby-Doo, but literally 5 years in a row.
Yeah,
That's what I
why
wanted
not?
to be.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think I was 13 or 14, maybe I'm going to say 13, where I was like, I want to be a rabbit. And this is when girls my age were probably being like sexy rabbit or
Yeah.
no, I was a full on like the Easter bunny, like
What
head
was it
to
like
toe.
a Christmas Story, like that kind of a bunny suit?
Like, yes, but it was white with like a pink belly, and I painted my face, and I literally hopped around, and I wasn't
get
cool.
beat up?
Guess what? No, I didn't get beat up, and also, yeah. Well, we're gonna get into the age of when it's about it, but anyway, I was very curious about your costumes as a child. So there are the people that say they don't celebrate Halloween. And then we also have people that try to make Halloween super political. And then
Yes.
they ruin it for people. It's just like, again, look, I'm super liberal. I get it. Like, you feel like politics can be in everything. It doesn't have to be in Halloween. Like,
No.
just fucking let people dress up and hand out some candy. So I have a few couple creeps here that tried to make Halloween super political, and I got this from BuzzFeed, linked in the show notes. One is someone, they were handing out like not very good candy. And they said, due to shortages in the supply chain during these unprecedented times, we regret to inform you that we can only supply Halloween treats as a substitution for Halloween tricks as a substitution for Halloween treats. We acknowledge this minor inconvenience and the probable disappointment this will cause. We are they're like, please accept this, instead of awesome candy. And then the sticker says, let's go, Brandon.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Sorry, if you want good candy, vote Trump.
Tell your parents to vote for Trump next time, Skippy.
Yeah. So shitty.
Go cry in your Scooby-Doo costume, dude.
Yeah. Sorry, no Snickers for you, dickhead. Vote Trump.
Owning the libs one at a time.
Yeah. Oh,
the baby libs.
Making kids cry. What a dick.
Yeah.
And then we have someone else who hung up a sign that says, attention, satanic socialists. This is the home of a patriotic Christian family. We work hard, underlined, and pay taxes, underlined. We do not, underlined, celebrate Satan's Day. We do not give away free candy to lazy, entitled freeloaders. No handouts. Welcome to America. Get a job if you want candy and find Jesus. I would knock anyway and be like, does Jesus live here?
Does Jesus have a Snicker?
Yeah. I heard he really satisfies. Does it? Like, again, asshole, just turn off your lights.
Turn
off lights.
Yeah,
What
just
the
say
fuck?
we couldn't do it this year. Sorry. Busy, couldn't get around to it. Just keep the fucking lights off.
Like, if you don't
and
want
watch
to celebrate
TV in your bedroom. That's
Yes.
what everybody does.
If you don't want to celebrate Halloween, that's totally fine. Like, don't yuck other people's yum. Just let them have some fucking fun.
Right.
Turn off your lights. Like, I guarantee you this is a person who complains about quote unquote happy holidays. I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
Ugh. So a lot of people in our group mentioned people who are worried that other people are trying to give trick-or-treaters drugs, to which I responded with, free drugs in this economy? Like, trust me, no one's putting their pot in your kid's candy. Nobody is putting LSD in your shit's expensive. Come on, man. We're not going to waste that shit on little kids. We're not.
No.
But there is a generation of kids that have been told that bad people want to hurt them, that they're tampering with the candy. We were told this as kids.
And the apples that had razors in them. That's what we were told. Yeah.
Yes. And the reason we were told this in the 80s was because of the Tylenol tampering thing that went on, which we did a whole episode on a couple seasons ago. And this was in the 80s. And if you didn't listen to that episode, somebody was like, this is before. It's hard to believe, but there was a time when they didn't have like seals on the bottles.
They didn't have child-proof caps.
Yes.
Didn't occur to anybody to make a child-proof cap.
Yes. And so people someone was just opening Tylenol bottles and putting fucking cyanide in there, and people were dying.
And we're never caught.
And never caught. It's fucking bananas that this is a thing that exists. But because of that, people were like, oh shit, like they could do this to the candy. Now, a professor of sociology and criminal justice at University of Delaware, his name is Joel Best. He has done a ton of research about this. And he said that that this is really a legend. Like there's no evidence of like people putting razor blades in apples or like anybody like being killed from Halloween candy. Like that's not a thing. But one of our listeners shared this story. And Joel Best also mentions that there is this one story, but it's not oh, this kid went trick-or-treating and ate candy and died. He was poisoned by his own father on Halloween. So this part is sad, y'all.
Okay.
So this man his name was Ronald Clark O'Brien, and he poisoned his own son with like poisoned pixie sticks that he slipped into his Halloween bag. And he thought he would get away with it because he thought this happens every year. Kids die from poison candy, and my kid will just be one of the kids that died from poison candy.
Question: was he going through
Yeah.
a divorce?
No, he
What?
had money problems.
Wait, why is he taking out the son?
He got a life insurance policy on his kid. He did all of this for a little bit of fucking money. Isn't that bananas?
Oh my God.
What a fucking monster.
That's evil.
This is evil. 1974, dude takes his kids trick-or-treating, slips a poisonous pixie sticks in his son. He was 8 years old.
Oh.
In his bag. And the kid like ate the pixie stick.
Sure.
And he's like, my stomach hurts and then this tastes weird. And the dad's like, here, have some Kool-Aid to wash it down.
Oh no,
And
not
then
Kool-Aid.
But like
we talked about that in our Jonestown episode, which is on our Patreon wall.
Yeah. If you want to hear Sonia cry,
yes.
well,
that was a rough one.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid immediately was like, my stomach hurts. He started vomiting. He had a seizure.
Ugh.
And
he went
died
to jail,
yes? Yes. So the kid died on the way to the hospital. It was really awful. And the cops, it didn't take him long to figure it out. The cops were like, the guy was contradicting himself. He, was trying to lead them in a direction of like, he just got it from trick-or-treating, but that's not what happened. It was him. Yeah, he was in an awful financial situation and he decided killing his kid was easier.
Normally they do that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to encourage it, but
no,
normally they
it's
do
true.
it to themselves to leave money
Yes.
for the family, but they try to
Yes.
make yikes.
No, this guy, by the way, insisted the whole time that he was like, he's innocent. He's not innocent. Like he was very, very guilty. Yeah, he was arrested. He was found guilty. He appealed 1,000,000 times all the way to the Supreme Court, and they were like thumbs down. And I don't know how y'all feel about the death penalty, but he died by lethal injection in 1984. He was in Texas, and Texas loves to kill people.
Yeah.
That's kind of their jam.
I was going to say, what state was he in? Because that's
yeah,
they don't like that shit. No.
Yeah, no, and I look.
We all have our opinions about it, right?
About the death penalty, but also fuck that guy.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're allowed to say it's been 40 years. Yeah,
fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm against the death penalty myself, but
yeah.
There's certain people you tell me that's what happened to them. Like, okay, I don't believe in it, but I'm not going to cry over this person.
Yes, exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one that's like, that's the one that's a sad story. And we're going to move on to.
But you know what? I think that did, because I remember in the 70s, because I'm a couple years older than you, that they absolutely had the razor blades and the drugs. They thought. That's what my parents told me now. I realize.
Yes.
I just realized now they probably were fucking lying to me because they would take all of our bags. We had a pillowcase. Did you use a pillowcase for your bag?
Yeah.
They would take all those and we weren't allowed to touch them until the next morning because they were inspecting the candy.
Oh, my parents never did that because they were probably like, fuck it.
It's
like,
fine.
But we absolutely like, we had to pay a toll kind of thing. Like my parents definitely had their faves that they liked. Like my dad loved sugar babies or sugar daddies, the little caramel ones that like really will rip out your fucking fillings. I don't get it, but that was one of his faves. My dad and I are
bar. My dad liked.
Do I remember those?
Yeah. My dad liked that one, and my mom was the Kit Kat queen.
Yeah, I don't remember what my mom's favorite was. She's not really a sweets person, but like, and my
she's
sister,
a baker.
Yeah, she loves to bake.
Yeah,
cookies and stuff. Yeah, but she's not like a
candy person.
Oh, yes, exactly. My brother was never really into trick-or-treating, so that wasn't his jam, but my sister and I absolutely were, and we had things that we liked and we would trade back and forth. That's what you do with your siblings.
That's what you're supposed to do because you're normal. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
Joe
what
and
was your
I, we
favorite?
would, oh God, well, anything with peanut butter. So like Reese's peanut butter
Same.
cups. Yeah. And Reese's
Same.
Pieces. That's what we called them, by
Yeah.
the way, Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Not,
Yes.
and it took me years for somebody said, what the hell is a Pieces? And I was
That's
like,
what
it's just
lots of
Reese's
people call
Pieces.
them that.
I know.
Yeah.
But I loved anything with like a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of caramel. I'm all into it. I didn't like the Dum Dums, the lollipops, the cheap lollipops. I just kind of got rid of those.
Our listener, Jennifer Moline, commented, people who hand out Dum Dums.
Yes.
And I don't mind Dum Dums. I didn't like Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, I love Tootsie Rolls because it's got that Tootsie Roll in the middle.
I don't like it. And then
liked
I
the
also
powdered
don't
stuff.
really.
You dip in your tongue.
Oh,
and
Fun
then-
Dip. Yeah.
Fun Dip. Yeah.
Yep. And I didn't really dig on Three Musketeers.
Oh, I love Three Musketeers.
Yeah. See, no.
The nougat.
But I love. Huh?
Not you didn't like the nougat.
I guess not. No. There's something about it that I'm like, no, that's
I should
not
say
for me.
also,
But
I'll eat just about anything. And especially
I
at that age, I didn't
still-
get tummy aches. I had nothing.
I still love Reese's peanut butter cups. That shit
Yeah.
is delicious. And the holiday ones taste better than the regular ones. I think it's because it's got more of the peanut butter.
I like the dark chocolate ones.
I also love Butterfingers.
Yes.
I love Butterfingers.
And I loved
And-
Chocodiles.
Oh, I remember Chocodiles.
Yeah, they were they
Yeah.
were Twinkies that had chocolate all over them. Those were good.
Yeah.
And then there was the Funny Bones, which is the same thing except it had peanut butter in the center. Oh, it was so good.
I love sour candy too, which was not popular. So
Yeah, I'm not a
any
sour
sour
person.
candy could come my way.
Raisins, box of raisins. People used to do that.
Boo!
And they ruin your teeth, by the way. That shit gets
Boo.
yeah.
I loved sweet tarts. Those, and then it wasn't until I was a teenager, I think, is when Sour Patch Kids came out.
Mm-hmm.
I love Sour Patch Kids. I still buy those when I still get those when I get on an airplane because sour actually helps with anxiety. If y'all don't know that.
Oh, I
If you
didn't know
start
that.
having like anxiety, you could eat something sour and your brain's like, what's all this then? And it like distracts you from your anxiety.
I'm all for distracting my brain. I'm pro.
I have sour candy all over this house.
I have licorice. I'm like all Twizzlers, cherry Twizzlers.
I'm a Red Vines person over Twizzlers, and I like licorice though, black licorice too.
I like
and my
black
dad
licorice
also.
too. Yeah.
Since we're on the topic of the people who hand out raisins, listener Kelly said terrible people who give out apples or toothbrushes on Halloween, jerks. That's what she called them, jerks.
Yep.
Growing up, I had a neighbor who used to give out pomegranates. And I was
Why?
like,
I don't even
ew.
know how to eat them. I still don't know how.
It's so funny to me because I'm like, as a kid, I was like, that gross, ew. Like, and my mom was like, sweet, like, ugh. And now I'm like, I don't understand why I was like, I guess if you want to hand me your produce, I'll take it. But like, my kid doesn't want your produce. Like, he doesn't want your apples or
tangerines.
pears. No, I'll eat it. Is
Yeah.
this for me?
It's a mommy
Like-
snack for the next day.
I'm like, what are we doing?
I think
They're
some people
like,
just don't plan
here's
properly.
some cabbage. Have some cabbage.
Yes.
Here's
Like
a can
Mary's-
of beans.
Mary from Salt Lake City. That's in her fridge. The cabbage and the cranberry juice.
The cranberry juice.
Oh, that was so sad. Yeah, people who only give like one little itty piece of candy too at a time. Now, I would help my parents every year, and I would make like little bags. I buy the little bags and put lots of little candies in there, and then we had a bowl for the teenagers, and it was full size. And I'm like, you don't want your house egged, so teenagers get this, and the little kids get the fun bags. And we were the cool house.
Nice. We have a neighborhood. Well, it's like no one trick or treats on my street. but like 2 blocks down is the street for trick-or-treating. They like block off the street so nobody gets hit by cars, because that's actually how the most if you're worried about children dying on Halloween, it's from accidents like that where
Yeah.
people get hit by cars. They
Especially
block
if
it
they're
all
dressed
off.
like ninjas, like if they have an all black costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That shit's scary.
all the houses go all out. They have their garages open. Some people like do little haunted mazes or whatever, and then they hand out candy, and like usually kids like they'll take one, and then what's funny is when Calvin does not trick or treat anymore, y'all. He's 13, but he stopped trick or treating like 5 or 6 years ago because he doesn't like it. He likes to hand out candy. I told him he should dress as a house and go out and hand out candy.
I
And
thought
he
you meant the
said that was-
doctor, that show
No.
with you.
No.
What's his face?
It's like, here's your cane.
Here's your pills.
No.
You're gonna pretend to
Now
pop.
go be a dick to everybody. No, I meant an actual house, and you can hand out candy.
Hugh
And
Laurie.
he
That's
said,
who I'm thinking of.
Yes, and he's all, I think that's a stupid idea. And I was like, my shit is wasted on you. It's a brilliant idea. But he doesn't do it. But when he did, he would take one piece of candy, and then sometimes they would be like, you could have another one. And he would look at me like, can I? And I'm like, yes. And he would take another one. And then he always thank you for the candy. Happy Halloween.
He's
Next
an angel,
house.
by
Like,
the way.
the most, because he's so logical. He's like, this is how we trick or treat.
This is the social interaction.
He can't help himself. It's so funny. And it was every house. They'd take one piece of candy, and then they'd be like, you could have more. And he'd look, and I'm like, yeah. And then he thank you for the candy. Happy Halloween. He's so funny. Crack me up. Where were we? Let me go back up because I want to talk about listener Caroline shared a story about Smile Train with the worst marketing campaign ever. So Smile Train is an organization that actually helps people who are born with like
Cleft palate?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they send out these postcards, and it's pictures of kids with the cleft palate, and it said, what if every day felt like Halloween? And it's like, you have the power to put an end to their nightmare. Like, and it's basically like, aren't these kids monsters?
Ew.
Donate to us so that we can make them not monsters. It's fucking terrible.
Is that like the UNICEF box we used to have? Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
Trick or treat,
Yeah.
UNICEF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. And like a parent in this, I shared an article, it's up in the show notes, and one of the parents in their comments and says like, you know, she has a child with a cleft lip, and to see something like that is like, your child's a monster. Like, it just contributes to the stigma.
We were going to do
Of
an
this.
episode about the MS, the multiple sclerosis, the telethon that Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Because it was a parade of like, look at these pathetic children in their wheelchairs and their crutches.
It's like raised all this money, but at the cost of like,
the
look
dignity.
at these. Yes.
Yeah.
Is awful. And that's what this was. And it's a real fucking fail. Again, link in the show notes if you want to see it. Listener Laura commented, people who don't open the door early when trick-or-treating because it's too early. And she wrote, ma'am, my son is afraid of the dark. I ain't coming back later. I'm like, if you're home and you have candy, come on.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah,
just
some
give
kids,
them
they
some
only have
candy.
that
Come
time.
on.
Yeah, some kids do it on the way home from school. Their parents do that.
Yeah.
And then they watch movies or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Assholes.
So, I know, seriously. So much of this is just like,
Don't
that's
be an
why
asshole.
we're doing this episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Another Jennifer in our group, not Dum Dum's Jennifer, said, grown adults that hide in their yards and scare little kids. Look, little kids get enough trauma these days. They
Yes.
have to do like active shooter drills and shit.
Yes.
Like a little scare is okay, but we're not looking to traumatize kids. Like, do that shit to teenagers. It's fine.
Teenagers fine. Anybody that's like
Yeah.
over about 5'2" or so, go for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Not little kids.
No. That's
it's-
just cruel.
It's not funny when a kid cries because they're scared.
It could be Jerry Seinfeld. Don't laugh. It's not funny. Remember he had Kramer on when Kramer, the guy who played Kramer, Michael Richards, he had a racist tirade.
Yes.
And then Jerry brought him on the David Letterman show for him to apologize. And he was being an idiot. And the audience was laughing. And Jerry kept saying, don't laugh. It's not funny. Shut up, Jerry.
Shut up, Jerry. So speaking of teenagers, I want to talk about people who say, aren't you a little too old to be trick-or-treating? I think there's a lot of things teenagers could be doing on Halloween.
Yeah,
And
do you want them to egg your house? No,
if
give
they
them some
wanna
goddamn
dress up,
candy.
if they want to dress up and go trick-or-treating and trade candy at the end of the night with their other teenage friends, who cares?
Exactly.
Let them. They're kids. Why? They're still kids. Like, just, and also they're ruining it for younger kids. They're not. Trust me.
You are.
Younger kids think teenagers are the fucking coolest.
Right.
And for them to see a teenager trick-or-treating makes them like more excited about what they're doing.
Right.
Like, also sometimes teenagers are taking their younger siblings trick-or-treating.
Or,
Like,
they like candy, right?
Yeah.
They like candy too. Like, why not? As long as they
It's-
get dressed up, I'm fine.
yeah.
If they don't have a costume, then I got a problem.
There's a difference. Like, if you got a teenager who's not dressed up, that's a different thing.
Right.
Like, that's someone being a dick. No, you have to participate. You have to. And I think it's also important. People need to remember that some people have developmental disabilities. Like, they're, I guess, for lack of a better, they haven't outgrown Halloween. And it's like, and
Right.
by the way, this disability, it may not be obvious to you. So
Right. Very important.
just mind your business, man. Just give them some candy.
You already have the
like,
candy in your hand or in your bucket or whatever the fuck you
Yes.
have it in. Just hand it over. Who cares?
yes. Yeah. By the way, again, like, let's say Calvin wanted to go trick-or-treating. He's 13. He's as tall as me. Like, if we went trick-or-treating, they might think he's too old. And I'm like, he's not. And also, who cares?
Who
Like,
cares? Yeah.
just give him some candy. So there's the people that are like, aren't you a little too old to be trick-or-treating? And then we have like city governments that actually try to ruin the fun. So I've got a list here of cities and towns that have actual trick-or-treat laws.
They sound fun.
They sound so fun. Let's move there. So here's one. Chesapeake, Virginia actually limits trick-or-treating to kids 14 and under. Anyone older than that
What?
can be charged with a class 4 misdemeanor for trick-or-treating.
What?
Yes. Can you fucking imagine?
Are you
Like-
IDing these kids?
Exactly. I'm like, how do they
15-year-olds
prove
have
it?
IDs on them? No.
How do they prove it? Show me your ID. They show an ID. Tricked you. That means you're over 16.
Look, if
I'm
they
calling
got shaving
911.
cream in their bags and they're going to definitely up to mischief, that's one thing. But if they're just out being raucous with their friends and get some candy, getting a sugar high going, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So Virginia Beach,
losers.
Portsmouth, Suffolk, and Norfolk all have these kind of rules. And apparently in Virginia, there's actually a state law that it's unlawful for any person over 16 to be wearing a mask that conceals their identity. And this is a very old law. And it was passed originally about the KKK. Like, this is why this law existed. Like, it was like to prevent like KKK members or other potential like criminals and things like that from hiding their face. So if you see people walking around hiding their face, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But then this law became like a way to like go after teenagers who were wearing masks and trick-or-treating. And it's like, why can't they trick-or-treat? And why are you trying to catch people?
Why are
who
you allergic to fun, people?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, this law was in the news recently because some people are using this law to go after people who are wearing masks because of COVID.
Yes, I know that. My old hometown, they have a law now.
It's ridiculous.
I know. It's embarrassing.
By the way, I live here in San Francisco. There's a really high like Chinese population here. They wear face masks all the time during the winter and have for years,
decades. Yes,
because
I know.
they don't want to
Same in New York.
spread because they have a cold and they don't want to spread germs.
They were wise about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so it's such bullshit. But I will say the governor, Ralph Northam, he has said like, we're not going after people wearing masks, like for COVID. Like he's like, people can report it all they fucking want, but we're not doing that. So
sorry, Karens.
Yeah, sorry, Karens. Mind your
Karens.
business.
Yeah.
Upper Deerfield in New Jersey has a recommendation. It's not a law. That's been on the books for over 30 years about kids over 12 shouldn't be trick-or-treating.
What?
Come on, really? Really?
I mean, mischief night. I would just say that. Like, but that's usually the night before.
Right.
Yeah, they TP a house or something. It's harmless. Come on.
What kids do.
Oh, look
Bellevue,
at that.
Illinois. What?
You hear that in my neighborhood? There's all these sirens going off.
They're coming
teenagers with masks.
Get them.
They're in Freddy Krueger masks.
Bellevue, Illinois has one that's like those in 9th grade or above aren't allowed to be like out on the street, highways, public homes, private homes, or public places trick-or-treating. They're not allowed to be trick-or-treating if they're in 9th grade or older.
They can be out, but they can't be trick-or-treating.
Correct.
Oy.
Also, this town also has the law about like children over 12 wearing masks. They have to get special permission from the mayor or the chief of police.
Chief Wiggum is going to be like, I don't know. My best Hank Azaria.
So ridiculous. Charleston, South Carolina has one about restricting trick-or-treating for teens over 16. They're also not allowed to wear masks in public places. There's also a flip side to this. There's people who bitch and complain about people who take their babies trick-or-treating. And they're like, they can't even eat the candy. They're little babies, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, do you have no sense of community? If somebody wants to dress up their baby,
yes,
and push them around in a stroller and see other people in costumes and trick or treat, who cares?
Just give them one little piece. I mean, it's not like a racket that they're running.
I just don't understand the logic of like people who you have the candy.
Yes.
Like, that baby's not going to eat these sweet tarts. No, probably they're going to eat it. Or maybe they're going to donate it. Who cares?
What? So
I sound like Tim Walz right now. Mind your damn business. Like,
who are these people?
Look at you
acting back to my
like
Seinfeld.
Looking like jumping around like a dipshit. Like, stop acting like a dipshit. It's my new favorite word, dipshit. Such a dad word. Listener Michelle commented, the people who get irrationally pissed off about trunk or treat. You don't have to do it, but for some kids and parents, it's a great option. It's a weird thing to get upset about. Do you know what trunk or treat is?
So is that a spot where if they don't have an area for trick-or-treating, parents meet at a place and they have the trunks of their cars open?
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah.
What is the problem here?
Yeah. So they decorate the trunks. Like sometimes they have games and like kids go from car to car and they trick or treat. And it's just like another like safe, easy way for people to trick or treat. And people lose their shit about it. And it's like, why?
Do you like tailgating? It's the same fucking thing.
Don't go.
Yes.
don't go if you don't want to.
Stay
Who
home.
cares?
Just stay home. Draw the curtains. Don't leave. Turn all
And
the
this
lights
one-
out. Just do one fucking night, y'all.
It's just one night.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. A couple of listeners, Molly and Marisa, both commented on the people who lose their shit about kids coming from other neighborhoods to trick or treat.
I used to get in trouble for that.
These are usually people in higher income neighborhoods.
Yep.
And they get annoyed when the poors show up, basically. And
they also don't have the good candy, y'all. Just so you know, you don't go to the rich neighborhoods. They're very cheap.
yeah,
They
and
give out the dum-dums.
Some do. Like, so there is, oh my God, my dog is losing his mind.
Max?
Yeah. My God, sorry, everybody. Max is very upset about people not being able to trick or treat. I don't know what's happening. Okay, anyway, there's a neighborhood in San Francisco, which, by the way, apparently Robin Williams used to live in. And they were notorious for like giving out like full-size candy bars. Like that was their thing. Look, not every neighborhood is equipped for trick-or-treating.
Right.
And so there's links in the show notes. Somebody like in one of these rich neighborhoods like hung up a sign on their house and it said, "I'm sorry, the dog is Maxie." It's like really loud. The sign says, "Due to the fact that people from other neighborhoods truck their children into this neighborhood by the dozens, this house will no longer be handing out candy. Thank you for ruining Halloween for us and the children who actually live here. Thanks for your understanding. Now go away."
Fuck you.
The only one ruining
Seriously.
Halloween is you.
You. You're
What a
ruining
cunt.
it.
What a cunt. Like, first of all, how dare you?
How dare
Second,
you?
don't be a creep. Go to Costco, go to Target, buy an extra bag of candy and shut the fuck up. Like, or just hand out the candy you have and then shut off your light.
Say you're
That's
out.
all you have to do. What's the big deal? Like, not every neighborhood is
No.
is
No.
great for trick-or-treating.
Yeah, some neighborhoods they have like just a bunch of old people or something and they don't
Yes.
do it. So yeah.
Yes. Or some people live on like my neighborhood, by the way. I live on a fucking hill. Nobody wants to walk up this hill to trick or treat.
Right.
Like, that's why everyone goes like 2 blocks down. Like, so not every neighborhood has it. And also, do you know every kid in your neighborhood? Or do they just not, quote unquote, look like someone from your neighborhood? Like,
Right.
fuck off with that shit. And how do you define your neighborhood? Are they from like 3 streets over? So that doesn't count.
Right.
Like, what
my
the hell?
neighborhood is like kid central. You've been here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kids that come from other neighborhoods come to Park Slope where I live
Yeah.
to do it because we're just known for that and nobody has
Yes.
a problem. You just buy extra candy
Yeah.
because the kids are cute. They're adorable. They're walking around in their
Yeah.
costumes. It's a fun thing.
It is. And like,
We don't say,
the
"Oh, you're
whole-
from Bay Ridge? Eat shit."
yeah, eat shit here and you take a dump in their bag. Like, no, that's not what happens. And like, what if they live in the country and they don't have any neighbors or like, so no Halloween for you. Sorry.
Yeah. That
No
just sucks
Halloween for you.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah. Look, I am team just let kids trick or treat.
Same.
These are probably the same people that's like, won't you think of the children? You don't think of the children? You're bitching right now about handing out a goddamn 3 Musketeers.
That is a champagne problem, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And again, not every neighborhood is set up for that. So our group mostly focused on trick-or-treating, but I did want to point out that like sometimes people's costumes can ruin Halloween for people. Like, have you ever been to a party and somebody wears something and you're like, what are you doing? And have you
Did you
ever
hear
been
the
to
story
that
about
party?
Kirstie Alley?
No.
Okay, here we go. Kirstie Alley's being interviewed by Barbara Walters, and it's like mid 80s, or height of her Cheers fame. And Kirstie Alley is from middle of Kansas. She's from farmland. And her parents were going to a Halloween party and they died in a car accident. And so she was living in LA at the time and she flew home. And they're in the hospital and they're hooked up to machines and it doesn't look good. And she's like, what happened? And there's like, mom and dad went to a party and they got in the accident on the way to the party. And then she said, for some reason, I said, well, what were they dressed as? Because, you're not.
They're on their way to a Halloween party.
And she said he was dressed as a KKK member and she was dressed as a black girl in blackface.
Jesus Christ. God.
And
that is terrible.
You can find the clip for yourselves, y'all. So this would be the 70s that this happened, or even maybe earlier than that. I think like maybe 60s or 70s. Yeah. Humor changes over time. I'm sure they thought they were being ironic and hilarious because they weren't racist, maybe. I don't know, the Kirstie Alley family. But yeah.
Yeah.
That would be hard for me to be at that party. I'd be like Homer Simpson's grandpa. Like I'd walk in and walk right the hell out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'd Homer Simpson into the bushes.
Yes.
Like, funny you mentioned inappropriate couple costumes because I remember this happened this was like 10 years ago. So a football player named Ray Rice was arrested for domestic abuse. Like he beat up his wife in an elevator.
Yes.
Maybe people remember this. And it was really awful. And that year for Halloween, all these people were dressing, like wearing their Ray Rice jerseys.
I think he's in North Carolina, right? I think it's Charlotte, maybe? Ray Rice?
Maybe.
I'm sorry.
Or maybe Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Anyway.
And
so people were wearing his jersey, maybe also throwing in a little blackface for fun. And then their girlfriends or wives were dressing up as the wife and giving themselves black eyes and shit like that. Hilarious. Oh. Domestic abuse is so fun.
Yeah.
Like what a shitty costume. To go back to the party where people wearing things, my friend Kate, who also listens to the show. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Kate and I went to a very fancy party at a winery once, and it was Star Wars themed for Halloween.
I would be so into that.
I was so excited, right? Because it was like they were going all out, and I was like, I'm gonna wear something so cute. So Kate and I both wore like dresses, and mine was an R2D2 dress, and then I wore like white boots with it, and I had a lightsaber, and then I wore like the R2D2 like Mickey Mouse ears that were like I got at a baseball game or something. And I was like, I'm R2D2. And she wore one that was Darth Vader. And it was a Darth Vader dress. We weren't sexy Darth Vader or whatever. It was just a dress.
Horny Darth Vader.
And she, horny Darth Vader. And she had the little buns, even though she was Darth. It was ridiculous, a little mismatch. But we were so excited. And it was everyone's so cute. And lots of girls dressed as Ewoks and whatever. It was very sweet. And they had like a huge life-size Jabba the Hutt and all this stuff. And there was a man there walking around in blackface dressed as Lando.
My God.
I was like, this almost ruined the whole fucking party for us. Like
they didn't throw him out?
He worked there.
Stop.
He worked there. And then we saw him talking to like another black man there. And I was like, is that black man not going to say anything to him? Like, Kate and I couldn't get away from this man fast enough. Like wherever he showed up, we were like running away from him. Like we didn't want to be anywhere near him. He was ruining this whole, it was a huge party. And I was like, dude, if you want to dress as Lando, just dress as Lando.
Just get a Jerry curl wig or something. You don't have to.
You don't need the blackface to be Lando. Like, what are you doing? It was so upsetting. And then they all took like amazing photos. Like they had a photo booth and like professional photographers there. And then they have the pictures up on their Facebook of the guy in blackface. And people were like, I like this. And I was like, oh my God.
You're living in the upside down world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also known as wine country here in California. It is a little bit more conservative up that way.
Yeah, it is.
So that was like almost 10 years ago. So I would like to think that that wouldn't happen now, but it happens more often than you'd think. And it was very upsetting. So
was Megyn Kelly his date?
yeah, right. And
she likes
was dressed
blackface.
And she was dressed up as Black Santa. Like, she's such a talk about a cunt. So y'all just be careful what you're wearing for Halloween.
Please.
Like Margot said earlier about all of her costumes. Like, just be careful, y'all. Like, give it some thought.
Think.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh. Think.
Think. So that is our list of people who tried to ruin Halloween.
That was amazing, Sonia. That was so much fun.
Thank you.
I want to talk about, there's somebody that's been in the news lately.
I saw this.
Oh, what do you mean?
No, I saw that she was in the news lately.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, you told me.
I did? Oh, that's
yes.
right. I did. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sonia and I have these text conversations back and forth when we're watching stuff on TV, and we'll say like, oh, hey, you should do this. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then I'm like, oh, you're going to do that? I forget that I said anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We text all day long, y'all. It's
a real friendship.
It is.
All right. So cat's out of the bag. Meow. Cassandra Gay Peterson, born September 17th, 1951. She is otherwise known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Elvira.
We love her. One of our best times we had when we were both in Chicago at the same time is we went to, there was an F This Movie party, and it was
so fun.
Patrick and Erica and our friend Adam Risky and JB and Jan. It was at JB and Jan's house, and they played Elvira's movie. What was the name of the movie?
It's just called Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
It's the best movie, y'all.
It's really good, y'all. It played at my movie theater when I was a teenager and that I was working at, and it was really good.
She's from pretty much the same area as Kirstie Alley, by the way. She's from Manhattan, Kansas. Oh. She became an actress in the 60s. She was born 1951. In the late 60s, she went to Vegas and she was a showgirl. And then she moved to LA to be an actress, and she was an actress in several different things. She was also an exotic dancer. But she eventually just glommed onto this character of Elvira. And some people claim that she stole the idea from another woman who dressed as Vampira in the 50s and 60s. But that woman said, no, I ripped it up from Morticia Addams because she got it from those cartoons that were in the New Yorker. But she developed this character of Elvira, and the thing that Elvira did that nobody else did is she talked with a Valley Girl accent, because that was really big in the early 80s. So she in the 80s and into the 90s, so famous. She was hilarious. She hosted all kinds of shows that show movies and cheesy movies. She also was on MTV. She's at MTV shows. She's gorgeous and just
gorgeous. I've seen her in
figure.
I went to like a convention once, and she was like walking by as I was like going the other way. Gorgeous.
I mean,
in person, like
stunner, absolute stunner
when she's in costume and when she is out of costume.
Yes,
gorgeous. And I love what she does. I don't know if she does she do it anymore, where she hosts movies on TV? And because now it's mainly like Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, and Joe Bob, I think, is on Shudder. I mean, there used to be things. So my friend Margot, my co-host, my friend Margot grew up on the West Coast, and there's KTLA has like movies they play all day at this time of the year, and there are definitely scary shows, and she's definitely a part of that culture. You know, once you're a woman and you're over 40, like people think you can't do things anymore, but Elvira's like, fuck that, I'm going to be me. I'm going to, yeah. So she still does things occasionally. She wrote autobiography, a few years ago. And she talked about the fact, like, unfortunately, she was sexually assaulted by Wilt Chamberlain at a party in the 70s.
Gross.
Yeah. I mean, she's dealt with some crazy crap, but she's also had just amazing experiences in her life. She was married to a man named Mark Pearson, who was her manager and helped her come up with her character. They split up, and she's been with a woman, Teresa Weirson. They've been together for 22 years now.
I had no idea.
Yeah. She came out of the closet a few years ago. She also was in The Groundlings, and she was friends with Pee Wee Herman. So she was in Pee Wee Herman's movies, but not in the Elvira character.
Yeah.
She was in another character. So she's a great actress on top of it.
Yeah.
And so when she's in character, she's like, hey-oh.
Yeah.
She's also a vegetarian.
Animal lover.
She's an animal lover. And I wanted to talk about her just because she's awesome and it's Halloween, but also because I don't know if you've been hearing about this, but she was at an event at Knott's Scary Farm. So there's this place called Knott's Berry Farm in LA, and they had a Halloween event, and the nickname became Not Scary Farm because nothing scary happened. They couldn't make it too much of a haunted house. So then they were smart. They just embraced that. And so they call it the Not Scary Festival. And she was talking to a panel, and they were like, you've been doing this. You've been famous forever. Have you ever had a bad experience with a celebrity? And she said, only one, besides Wilt Chamberlain. She didn't bring that up, but it was on a panel with a bunch of people. And it was just a few weeks ago. And she said, yeah, as a matter of fact, it was around 2016 and it was around Halloween, and I was doing a series of shows in LA, and I heard from Ariana Grande, her people, who said, her family, I think Ariana grew up in LA, and also that culture
sounds
of the scary movies. Yeah. So
she did Nickelodeon stuff, right?
Yes.
She's
one of the Nickelodeon stars.
Yeah.
And now she's in Wicked. And she and her co-star left their partners to be together. So that movie's had some bad publicity, and she's had publicity before. There's a very famous event where she was at a donut shop and she was bitching about fat Americans and like licked the donuts that were behind the counter. It was really gross. Ooh. She has a reputation for being not always pleasant.
Here's the thing. I don't want to hate her, but sometimes she makes it hard.
She doesn't make it easy, y'all. And I think she's incredibly talented. She was on Saturday Night Live recently. Yeah. She's funny as shit. She is funny.
I've had that fucking Domingo song stuck in my head for like a week.
She did a sketch a couple of years ago there where they were talking about, they were doing a riff on The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
And she was the one nun that would not break into song and thought it was annoying, and she was hilarious. She's so funny. Yeah. So I give her that. She's talented, like for sure.
In the skit with the bridesmaids all singing their version of Espresso, she was very funny in that.
She's great.
She did a whole thing where basically she couldn't sing. Do you know how hard it must be to be someone who can sing? Pretend that you can.
She can also sing like Celine Dion. Yeah. She can sing like Barbara, like Mariah Carey.
But she's probably a pain in the ass.
She's a pain in the ass. She's known to be a diva.
Sure.
Okay. So Elvira said, so I was doing a series of shows, and I heard from Ariana Grande's people, and they said that her family are all Elvira maniacs. They love Halloween. Oh. And they said, can we please come to the show? And Elvira said, sure. And they said, can we get tickets? So please give us the tickets versus can we buy 20 tickets? They asked for 20 tickets.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. That's a big ask. But she was like,
also, you're rich, but okay.
Of course. But Elvira's like, okay, whatever. It's meeting the fans, and she brings them all just before, she does her show. So the whole family comes with Ariana, and she meets all her family, and she poses for all the pictures for all of them. And then Elvira, when they were done, she said, Ariana, hey, can we have a picture together? And Ariana said, no, I don't do that. I don't really do that. And then she left. And she left before the show even started. And And so she's like, it was just really, really
So her
rude.
family really wanted to go, and
she got them in for free.
yeah,
She got them to go early and meet her, and got them all to take pictures with Elvira, but she refused to take a picture with her because Elvira
That's
probably
rude.
wanted to have one picture with her to put on social media.
yeah, that's the reason she would do this, right?
I mean, and you do that for each other. That's the whole point
Yes.
of social media. You
Yes.
help each other. You lift each other up.
Yes.
And so she said, yeah, that was really rude. And the audience is like, yeah, that sucks. So so Ariana Grande responded, and she said, I actually don't even remember getting the chance to meet you because I had an anxiety attack, and to my memory, left before the rest of my family. This is around 7 years ago. And it was at that time that I was not sorry. I got to bring the whole thing up.
Yeah.
So there was Ariana Grande was having a concert in Manchester, and a bomb went off. Somebody brought a bomb with them. Do you remember this? And 22 people
Yes.
died.
Yes, it was awful.
Several dozens were injured. And she handled that beautifully, I say too. She was very good about that.
Yeah, by the way, we're not saying that she's a creep. This episode is not about
We didn't call her
Ariana
the B
Grande.
word. We didn't say anything else. We talk about people's behavior, and we really
Yes.
try to be fair about like not shitting on women more
Yes.
than men. Like we're very,
Yeah.
and when people call us out, we are open to that. We do listen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
so she was basically saying, I had PTSD, and if I hear loud noises, if I'm in uncomfortable situations, I have to go. And I understand that, but this was way before any of that happened. It was a few months before any of that happened. So she's like tagging along a former trauma. And then she said, but if I did something to offend you, I'm sorry. And then I wanted to add this. I really wanted to offer a sincere apology. But then she said, I'm going to ask my family about this because I don't remember. And I'll also mention it to my mother, who may not appreciate this very much, but I don't know. So basically,
Girl,
like, yeah.
Ask your family before you respond then.
Yeah.
Like, how hard is that? Like, reach out to your family, say, did this happen the way she's saying? Because I don't remember. And then you respond.
Right.
Not, I'm going to ask my family about it.
And my mother's probably not going to be happy, but oh well, whatever. So it's an apology, but not an apology.
But not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Elvira said, of course, I accept your apology. No worries. 'Cause she doesn't want
that shit.
Ariana's
She doesn't want
fans.
Ariana Grande, or army coming.
her army coming after her. But nobody would, because Elvira's awesome. And there's no reason to ever
I
attack
would
her.
hope not.
Right. So that's our non-creep this week. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Love her. Good choice, friend.
Thank you. That's our show today. And I hinted this before, but we also co-host a show called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. Sonia, what are we dorking out about next?
We are going to be talking about Tremors. It is streaming on Peacock. So if you have Peacock, go watch it. Maybe you've already seen it. I know it is beloved. Like a lot of people love Tremors. I'm really looking forward to this rewatch. It's been a while. And I'm going to see if I could drag my kid in to watch it with me, because I think he would be super into it. So maybe we'll get some good Calvin quotes out of this. But we are doing Tremors.
We just covered Prom Night, by the way, the 1980 version. That was
so fun. So fun. And y'all in the What a Creep group have been sharing your prom pictures, and they're amazing.
Thank you.
They're
Thank you for mentioning
amazing.
that. Yes, that was awesome. Thank you for starting that. You guys, we just have the best listeners. We have the best listeners, and our Facebook page is chef's kiss.
Yes, I shared one of my pictures too.
And
so y'all could.
Whew, you as a blonde.
I was hot stuff.
You were.
But I didn't think that. Thank you. But at the time, I was like, I'm so fat and ugly, and no one will ever love me. And now I look back, and I was like, oh my God, what a beauty queen.
Same, girl. Same.
So
I hated myself.
So awful.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Love yourselves if you're young. Love yourselves. It's a great time in your life. Embrace it.
It is. It is. Absolutely.
Your back's going to ache one day. Your shoulders will go out. Trust me. Just enjoy it.
You're going to do yoga and your hip is going to make a weird noise when you
Oh, the
do your
creaking,
downward
the
dog.
popping
Yeah.
and crap.
Oh.
Oh. Anyway,
But getting old is a privilege.
it is. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So all those places I mentioned at the top of the show, the social media places, you can send us your suggestions. We love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters or use something else. Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like some stickers, send along your address and we'll drop them in the mail for you. Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and Blue Sky and Threads. Where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me at brooklynfitchick.com. I'm at brooklynfitchick for Threads and Instagram. I'm at Brooklyn Margot for TikTok and Twitter. And on YouTube, please sign up for my YouTube. I'm going to be doing lots of promotion for my
She's
books.
already posting some good stuff there. I
Margot
like it.
Donahue under my name, Donohue. All right, everybody. Well, you know,
Yeah.
be safe. Put on your costumes. Have a great time. Don't give
Hand
out
out
the
candy.
shitty candy. Yeah, don't give the shitty candy. Be generous. Be kind.
Yes.
Don't be a creep.
Be a creep.
Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.